Hey everybody, Raven here, and today I'm really excited to let you guys know that we're going to do a $500 face value full rim walker search of half dollars here, all Walking Liberty halves. I'm really excited about this. I hope we find something really good. I got the fingers crossed. I want to say a big shout out to my friend that gave me this bag that lets me go through his personal collection and do things like this. And, you know, it's one of those things where developing relationships is very important. And this is one of the things that if you develop the right kind of relationship and have enough trust with one another, you can do some pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to open this up real quick here, and we're going to see some examples of what is in this bag. And then I will search through it a little bit. I'll do some stuff on the scope here and there. But, you know, trying to go through every last coin on video would be a little bit difficult. But let's see how gorgeous this looks. Just to see $500 in Walking Libs on a table is going to be epic in itself, my friends. Holy smokes, look at this. So let me get to the right side here. And, wow. That is truly a breathtaking pile. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope we get some really awesome stuff out of here. Since it's all Walking Libs, we don't really have to break it down to figure out what's there, you know, but we should take a look under the scope and see a couple examples. Alright, so starting off here, first coin under the scope, we have a rather common 1941, but it's in nice condition. And the reverse is a Philly. So 1941 Philly, not too shabby. But you know what? I'm thinking about it again, and I think I actually need to put these into some piles so I know what I'm going through versus what I've already searched. So I'm going to do that and then come back and see what we go through. We'll go through the first like little pile or two that I have for dates and stuff and see what we have. Ravenhawk Coins, stay tuned. Alright everybody, it took a little while to get through it, but not as bad as going through multiple denominations like the last time, which took quite a while to get through. This literally only took about 10 or 15 minutes. We have 50 piles here. I put the one coin that we searched on the top there just to show that they're all even. And this is going to be pretty exciting. I'm really stoked to see what we have. And let's take a look at the first roll or so and see what we get here. I'm going to put on the full scope. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So the first date coming out of the bin is a 1928 San Francisco. Pretty cool. And, you know, I'm not really a walking encyclopedia when it comes to coins. Probably like a lot of you out there, I have to look through the book a lot of times to see, you know, I mean, there's certain key dates that always stick out in your head. But it's not always just a slam dunk as like, oh, this one's great and worth more than everything else, you know. So this is a 28S is what we said. And let's see here. 28S, only 1.9 million ever minted of the 28S. So that's pretty cool. What I'm going to do is put these in little piles of, you know, teens, 20s, 30s. And what have you. Matter of fact, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So right now, this will be the 20s. I'll put the 20 over here. I'll put teens, 20s, 30s, 40s. And we'll see what happens. We'll go through them and see if there's any other cool key dates through it and whatnot. But let me put back on the scope so we can look at a little bit more together. And like I said, hopefully find some really cool stuff. And already, finding one with a super low mintage, that is pretty darn cool. Alright, next item up is a 1945, so that's a rather common date. San Francisco, so 20s, 30s, 40s, we're going to put 40 right there. And, oh, you guys can't see it because I still got the scope. So we got 1944 Philly. This one's got a couple little chalk marks in their edge or the rim there, but hey. You know, still really cool. Another 45. So far, We got a majority of 40s. This is a 45S for San Francisco, as you know. And we got a 36 Philly, so we're going to put that in the 30s pile. And a 45 San Francisco. So San Francisco's got some good dates. You can hear little Raven in the background having fun with Mama and the sister. And some of these are really nice coins, to be honest. Like, these are decent value grades of walking libs. Like, to be quite frankly honest, when you're collecting these kind of dates or these kind of coins, some of the spots to fill can be quite expensive, because key dates and then of course condition make a big difference in the value of the coin. All right, what's the next one we have here? We have another 43. So as I kind of expected, we'd have a majority in the 40s, but so far we got one in the 30s, one in the 20s, hoping to find a couple in the teens. And we got another S mint mark in the 40s. We'll look through the pile here a little bit more. We got a 1940, pretty nice condition. You have all the lines in the dress still, and it's an S. And like I said, I'm not the key date expert on every coin, and I'm just curious of what a 40S is. And let's see here, 1940S, there was 4.5 million made, so that's actually a lower mintage. In a G4, it's worth $8, F12, 10, VF20 is 15, so, that's easily a $15 plus coin right there from a 40S, and that's one of the things that surprises me about different denominations from time to time, is how low some of the mintages are that don't have the value that you think they would have. I mean, we've already had a couple that were in the low millions, and yet the value wasn't considered, key date or whatnot. All right, so we got another 1942 Denver. So cool to see some different mint marks in here. And I'm pretty darn sure, like I said, it's going to be a majority of 40s. And that makes sense because that was one of the most commonly, larger mintages and stuff made on those. And people tended to hold those when they started, finding out that, oh, we might have a new kind of coin in the future to replace it. So we got 45S. And let's see here. I'm hoping we get a really low date here. 1942. Excuse me. 1938. We got another in the 30s. 1936 Philly. And I think the 35, 36s are pretty much one of the key dates in this. So let's see here. 36 Philly. You're looking for the D or the S in the 36s, it looks like. But definitely anything that's in the 20s is worth more. And in the teens, even more. So, keeping the fingers crossed. Hopefully we find some pretty epic ones. This is a really nice 41 in the bag. And that is a Denver Mint. I love the old design. I wish they would bring back, the eagle, the way that it is on some of these old coins. They have a little bit more character than, the coins we have in circulation today. Now, recently, they did make the Women of History quarters, which have some pretty cool designs. Some like the new George Washington style, and some don't. It, to each his own. It's kind of one of those things where it's personal choice, personal preference as to what you see. Okay, we got one in the 30s, and it is a Denver. Nice. So we are finding a little bit in the 30s. This next one might be interesting. Oh, exactly 1940. I just saw that the date wasn't very prominent on that one. This is a 1940S. And we'll go through a couple more, and then I will come back after I've gone through a number of them and show you the distribution that I found as far as 20s, 30s, and 40s, and you know, I think it's just a really, really cool thing. Like I said at the beginning of the show, or of the video actually, is that developing relationships is key and very important in the coin collecting hobby slash community, because it's not a really giant community. You know, there's everybody kind of tends to know one another in the States, especially around here. um, and your reputation, your word is your bond. It's very key to be able to, you know, have the ability, one, to talk to people and not be afraid to ask for things. Oh, we got a 39 right here. And this one looks really nice. Look at that. Look at all the details still left in this beautiful coin. This is a Denver, so not too shabby. We got four from the 30s in there. But like I was saying, you know, developing relationships is very, very important, very key to your success as a collector. And if you want to become a dealer, or let's say you even want to become somebody that does videos on YouTube, you know, you got to be able to talk to your fellow person, ask for things, you know, network, and also make sure to remember the people that helped you in the past. And when people come and ask you for some help, you're willing to help them as well, because that's how we keep the coin collecting hobby alive. Oh, we got a 35. Let's see if it's got a mint mark on it, and it is a Philly. So we got another one from the 30s, and we're not doing too shabby. I'll get through this next roll here, and then what I'll do is I'll go through a majority of these and figure out where they line up in the dates, and give you guys a breakdown. About probably more than halfway through is what we'll look at, and then I'll do another search through and then see what our ending distribution of dates is. This next one's a 1945. Not too bad. There's another thing, I know that a couple of coins have, you know, doubles. There's some double dies and stuff in the Walker, different years and whatnot. This 1940 is pretty nice looking. It's a Philly. No mint mark, of course. So as we've gotten through this, and like I said before, I think it's going to be the standard through the entire video, is that majority of these are going to be in the 40s. And you know, that's quite understandable. But all of these are in really, as like I said, these are in good condition. These are coins that you could put to fill a book, you know, or whatnot. And there's no shame in having stuff that's not high grade in every single last thing that you collect, because, you know, that would get rather pricey. Now, if you have the money to do it, by all means, it's understandable. But at the same time, there's never should be any kind of shame in what you're collecting. Oh, this has some nice toning on it. Very cool. A little bit of rainbow going on in there. This is probably in a holder or a book at some point. 40 something S. And the next item up. Ooh, we got another one from the 30s, ladies and gentlemen. 1936. Philly. Here, I should show that a little better. When I do these, I tend to go kind of quick when I'm looking at myself, because I'm really looking for certain dates. You know, we got another 1945. Not looking too shabby. And that's a Philly. And last but not least, a 1942 Philly. And so what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to continue to look through these and make piles. So this is the 20, 30, and 40s. Expect this area to be really big compared to the distribution over there. But we're going to try our best and see what we come up with. Ravenhawk Coins, stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we got through the first half of everything that's here, and we have the pile of 40s, the 30s, 20s, 18s, and we got a 17 here. And I'm going to show that to you under the scope here in just a second. This one's actually a really cool one to have found. Let me see if I can move the camera just a little. There we go. I think that's showing the right one there. Nope. Okay, there's the 17. So I need to move these over just a touch to get everything in line here. So there's a 17. We're going to put the highlights under the scope in 3, 2, 1. All right, so this one is really cool that we found this. We have a 1917, and it's a Denver, I believe, if I remember correctly. Right there, Denver. And this one, I think there's barely over a million minted. Let me relook again. Reverse mint mark 1.9 million, and in a G4 it's worth 18 bucks. So pretty cool find. And then we got a couple of 18s in the mix as well. And I think the majority are Phillies, but we'll double check here. Give me just a second. Okay, so first coin up. 1918. Oh, San Francisco. So that's pretty cool. If I remember correctly, the San Francisco one was a little bit more minted. Yeah, 10 million. The Denver's 3 million, and the Plain is 6 million. But very cool to find. Here we will show the next 1918 that we have. Get that out of the way. 1918 Denver. So you have two of the, or one San Francisco, one Denver. Another 1918. And that is a San Francisco. That mint mark is actually really crisp. And the last 1918 that we have has a little bit of toning on it, a little bit of character to it, which is really cool. Because could you imagine if a coin that was 104 years old could speak to us and tell us what it's been through, what it's seen? That would be pretty epic. And then for the 20s, we have a 1920. Here, I'll show them off. Got a 1920 San Francisco. 1929 San Francisco as well. Another 1920 Philly. And then the last of the 20s is a 1928 San Francisco. So not too shabby at all on the 20s. And let's see what the 28S is. 1.9 million minted on the 28S. And then the 29, it's a, I think that one was a Philly, right? No, or San Francisco, I'm sorry. It was 1.9 million. So some relatively low mintages on those coins. Then we had some highlights. We had a really nice toner from the 40s. Very gorgeous rainbow tone going on into this one. So that was pretty neat. San Francisco. We'll probably put that aside for my friend. I'll let him decide what he wants to do with it. Then we had a really, really nice 1936. Look at this for a 36 in pretty much AU plus condition. A 36D. Now, let me see what a 36D says here. It's a 4.25 million minted. So pretty cool. Nice coin to find. And in that condition in this pile, that is not too shabby at all. And then the last ones that we had in the 40s that were pretty nice is we had a 1943 that is really nice condition, more of an VF to AU. You know, very, very cool. Or XF, I should say. Another 44. Philly. 42. And, you know, as far as having full breast line and dress lines and everything, these are very, very nice to see in this bag, you know. These are ones that you could pull out and ask for a little bit more, especially this one here. This one's really nice looking. The reverse, you still got some detail in the feathers on the breast and on the leg of the eagle. And then last but not least, in the highlights of the first 25 rolls, got another 1942 with very nice details on it. It's a Denver. Not a bad looking coin at all. I got my big fat fingers in the way, but you know, it does have wear on the high spots, so at best it would do is like, you know, possibly an XF or, you know, close to an AU, but still really, really cool to find. That I'm going to stack up on the top here. And we're going to get back into the last of this and see what else we find, ladies and gentlemen. Ravenhawk Coins, stay tuned. All right, everybody, so we got through the end of this, and the distribution was actually kind of surprising. This is a 18 pile of 17s, pile of the 20s, and then we have one really nice, shining bright example, which we'll put under the scope right about now. Right there is a 1941 in really nice condition. The mint mark is a San Francisco, so this one would probably be more of an XF to an AU. I'm bordering more on the XF condition, but still a nice shiny example. And then I apologize for that quick delay there. We did find a 1918. And I'm sure this one, yeah, this one was a San Francisco, so pretty cool. A number of 1917s. Right there, 1917 Denver. $1917 in a little bit nicer shape. San Francisco, reverse. 1917. Philly. So we got Philly, San Francisco, and Denver all in the mix. None of the obverse ones. That would have been really, really cool to find one of those. But hey, that's like a super key date. So Philly, Denver, San Francisco, all 1917s with the reverse. So the Denver reverse is 1.9 million. The San Francisco reverse is 5.5 million. The Philly was the big one. That was 12.29 million for that minted, but not too shabby. And if you look at the distribution here, I mean, it's kind of close. There's 4 piles here. There's almost 4 piles here. We're a couple short here. This is all the 40s. This is all the 40s. They're about the same in distribution, so that's kind of cool to see that there's a nice even mix. Now we're going to look at the 20s. We have a pretty nice looking 1928 San Francisco. And I'm going to check real quick here. The 28 San Francisco is 1.9 million minted, so that's a pretty nice low mintage coin there. Then we have a 1929 San Francisco to go along with it. $1928 again, and another San Francisco, so not too shabby on finding the low mintage ones. This one here had a little bit of a tinting to it. 1920. I don't know what that little thing in the front is. Probably a little piece of gum or something on there. But that is a Denver from 1920. Actually, it's a dent. I thought it was a piece of gum, but it's a dent in the coin. And then we got a 1929 Denver. A 19, I think this is a 28. San Francisco. And then the last coin to show is going to be a 1927 And that mint mark's kind of odd looking, you know? Let's see what the 27s are looking at. So that would be a 27S because they didn't make Philly or Denver that year. So that's an S. Could possibly be a repunch mint mark, but you know, it's a pretty kind of a worn down bit, beat up a little bit coin, but still a really, really cool coin to get in a search. And again, I want to say a big thank you and shout out to my friend. He knows who he is that lets me do these things, and you know, it makes a big difference. Like I said, to be able to develop relationships, get to know one another, and like I always say, make sure to take care of one another, and we'll see you real soon. But if you want to correspond, it's Ravenhawk Coins at 721 or PO Box 721-296, Norman, Oklahoma 73070. And like I repeat myself sometimes, and I'm going to do it now, like always, please make sure to take care of one another. We'll see you real soon. Ravenhawk Coins, have a great day.